Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Purnima Chaudhari joining us here today. She's a Reiki master teacher and practitioner at Inner Journey Reiki. Welcome back. How are you today?
I'm great, Jill. Thank you. So good to be here.
Well, same here. First and foremost, we just need to get a little bit about your background. Where are you currently located?
So right now I am in Winnipeg, Manitoba, but I'm in the process of moving to Hawaii, Kauai.
Wow, that's what I read. And I said, oh my goodness, unbelievable. Two beautiful places. Well, amazing.
Mhm.
What a journey. And you're able to do your work though, virtually anywhere, correct?
Yeah, I have an online Reiki school, and also I do virtual or remote appointments, and I can work from anywhere.
Well, thank you for being here. And the website people can find you at is innerjourneyreiki.com. That's INNERJOURNEY, Reiki spelled REIKI.com. And some people may be tuning in today saying, what is Reiki? I've heard about Reiki. I'm not sure what it is. So let's go over the basics just to start. Tell us a little bit about what Reiki is, and then we'll get into how it can help someone because there's thousands of different ways it could really be helpful, right?
Yeah. So, Reiki is energy healing, and it's a practice that has been established for over 100 years, but it was most likely practiced with different names before that. But the practice that we have today, the modality of Reiki, it's a Japanese healing method, and it was established by Dr. Mikao Usui in 1922. And since then, it has evolved so much, and we have now more frequencies to work with, more energies to work with, and it can help with so many different, ailments, whether it's on the physical level or the mental, emotional level or spiritual level. And it also, is something that can bring a lot of guidance. That's what Reiki does. So it can help really with anything. We call it complementary therapy, which means that it helps complement anything else that a person might be doing, like in terms of healing. It could be a medical treatment or a psycho therapy treatment, any kind of treatment they could be receiving. Reiki will complement that and make it better, speed up their healing. And so it can help with many different things. And Reiki, the word itself, means spiritually guided life force. So it's nothing but the life force, but very specific frequencies of the life force that are being channeled to the person receiving it.
Wow. So these healing sessions, as you mentioned, can happen just like we're talking today. We're here on a live Zoom podcast, right? And you could work with me here, anywhere. I'm in New York, right?
Yeah, it can be done anywhere. I have clients all over the world, and I personally don't use Zoom or any
Okay.
virtual, like technology like Skype or FaceTime or anything like that. I like to work in the quantum field where I don't know what my client looks like. I don't know anything about them. I just know their name and where they live, and I connect with them in the quantum and channel to them, and they receive the healing. So I've done thousands of sessions, and yeah, I have clients literally all over the
Wow.
world. Yeah.
Fascinating. And I mean,
Mhm.
let me just ask, I know we're talking about humans, but also you're doing this type of work with animals. Could you share how that can be beneficial to our pets?
Yeah, so animals and humans have a very special bond. We have lots of animals who are pets, and then we have animals in the wild. And we recently received a special frequency from the divine animal kingdom that really allows us to work with animals. But even with the Reiki that we knew before, we were always doing this work for animals as well, because animals also benefit from this work. And more importantly, they recognize this energy. They're so in tune with nature. If you observe animals, they're very in tune with their energy and also the energy of nature and Mother Earth. So they receive it, they accept that energy very easily. And I've
Wow.
worked with all kinds of animals, including dogs and cats and horses. I've worked with exotic animals as well. And, it's just so amazing to work with animals because I feel like when I am connected to an animal, I'm really feeling a deep connection with the divine source energy because animals hold that unconditional love. And I'm able to feel that energy in a very palpable way. So yeah, and especially like pets, if you think of dogs and cats, which are the most common pets that people have, dogs take on a lot of energy. That's how their nature is. Like if you have a dog as a pet, there's a special bond that, when the caregiver, the primary caregiver, or the
Hmm.
mom and dad of that dog is going through some, physical or mental, emotional uh, illness, the dog will absorb some of that energy and may also exhibit some symptoms. And so I do that type of work. But, lots of people have booked for sessions when the animal is receiving surgery or some
Hmm.
kind of procedure, and there's some anxiety related to that. And so the Reiki helps to calm them down and make sure that the procedure goes well. I've done like many different kinds of sessions, and I have like, you know, hundreds of stories to share, but it's just fascinating how animals receive it so beautifully. Animals can also be attuned to
Ooh.
Reiki, and they
Ooh.
share Reiki. Like my dog
Really?
is a master, is a Reiki master, and he sits with me when I do healings and he shares the energy. So animals are very much in tune with this energy.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, this is beautiful. I have three cats now, so I'm curious. Sometimes you feel like they're trying to talk to you and they don't express themselves, but this could all be possible. And how do you know it's someone come to you like if their pet's just not well, feeling off, and you could actually pick up what's bothering them? That's amazing.
Yeah, so I have this example where, this one cat was adopted into this family, and they had other cats. But this particular cat, she came from an abusive home. And so she was very, you know, aggressive, but that behavior came from the fear and the protection that she needed. So she would be mean to the other cats, and she would not use the litter. It was like her way to rebel, like, and then she wouldn't let the new caregivers pet her or anything. Like she was not, settling into their home. And so they approached me, and in that one session that I channeled to this cat, the cat started using the litter box. The cat completely surrendered, was nice to the other cats. She was receiving like pets, she would, like for cats to expose their belly, that is like showing that they trust fully. And so she was allowing the caregivers to pet her. And, it was so significant to see that a complete shift in her behavior in that short
Amazing.
time. Hmm.
Wow. Wow. This is fascinating work you do. You clearly are passionate about helping people. And I love hearing, and I want to know more about the Reiki and all the other things that it's helping people with. I heard about chronic pain, even, right?
Yes, chronic pain. And the number one thing that people are facing right now is stress. I mean, every person has some level of stress. And a lot of people are suffering from anxiety because there are so many things going on in our world, so much uncertainty that is bringing in a lot of stress and anxiety for many people. And so that is something that Reiki helps a lot. Like, we humans have been programmed to be in that fight or flight mode when we are perceiving some danger. And, back in the day when tigers were chasing us, that was life-saving, that fight or flight response. But it's not needed today. I mean, there are times when we need it, but most times the smallest triggers can cause us to be perpetually in this fight or flight mode, and that can cause so much physiological damage. And so bringing in Reiki, it releases that stress, that anxiety, and brings in that calm, peaceful feeling into that person. And they just feel like they can tackle anything
Now,
they
do you feel animals also have like a sixth sense? Because I'm working from home today and this has never happened. My cat just jumped up on the computer
yes.
and he's brand new. I just adopted him last week, so I don't really know him well. Is he coming to
Yeah.
you, Purnima? Maybe he needs something. This is,
Yeah.
oh my
So,
goodness.
usually I'm always channeling, like I
Wow.
turn Reiki on, and they are so sensitive. This weekend I taught a class,
Oh,
and one of my students, she had all her cats sitting next to her, and two of them were not even her cats. Uh, it was like they were just sitting next to her because they sense the energy and they love it. And I mean, yeah, it's just amazing how sensitive they are to the energy. And just us talking, she can tap into my energy and she can
uh-huh.
feel it. She can
I
feel
have
that energy.
goosebumps right now. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Amazing. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. All right, we still have plenty more time to talk. I just want to remind everyone how we can reach out to you. Would you mind sharing your website, phone number, any social media pages again before we continue?
sure. So my website is innerjourneyreiki.com. And that website it's very simple to navigate. It has all the offerings clearly listed. It's a fairly new website, so I'm still working on adding more resources and some free content for people to have, but I'm working on that. And then I also have an Instagram page at Purnima_Chaudhary, and people can find me there. There's links that they can access, and things that I share with people.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much. Well, I know we have a lot more time. What else in particular about your craft and about how you're helping people did you want to make sure we cover for today?
Yeah, I feel like I mean, doing sessions is something that I do quite regularly. I'm still working with clients one-on-one where they book sessions and I channel to them. I receive and experience guidance. I'm a very passive conduit. And what I mean by that is I'm simply holding myself as a channel of this divine energy, and the person is receiving it. And while I'm channeling, I'm observing what is going on. I'm very clairsentient. So, I mean, I have all the other clairsenses that are also, working in synergy, and they all come online as soon as I start channeling. And so I receive clear information about what is going on in their body, in their physical body, subtle body. And then sometimes, some messages come through that I get to share with them. And, having done thousands of sessions, I've seen that it's always spot on what I receive, and it always resonates with them. Sometimes I'm shown animals that bring like specific medicine or specific messages, and it's always, something that resonates deeply. It makes absolutely no sense to me when
Mm-hmm.
I have these visions, but it always makes sense to my client. And then I also do global healing circles. This is
Okay.
something that I
Cool.
started during COVID. And, I founded a lineage called the New Earth Reiki. And during COVID, when the first lockdowns were established all over the world, and, our world pretty much shut down, I received a new frequency of Reiki and I was guided to share it. And my spiritual guides, my spirit allies were telling me there was a sense of urgency that I need to share this, not one-on-one, but on like a mass scale. And so I put it on my Instagram, and it was such a big hit that I started doing them more consistently.
Wow.
Then now I've tied them. I mean, very early on, I tied them with the moon phases because my name means the full moon. And I have this very strong connection with the moon. So every full moon and new moon, I host this global healing circle in the quantum again. It's not done on Zoom or YouTube or anything. It's in the quantum, and we have like hundreds of people join from all over the world. And basically, it is to bring support and although it's a group session, it brings one-on-one energy interaction, and there's an alchemy that happens with that session. And
Okay.
whatever you might be, experiencing, it always brings support and ease into your life. And I'd also love to mention that I'm very committed and passionate about helping the natural habitats and the wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
So 10% of the proceeds go to Wildlife Conservation Society. We're doing amazing work on our planet, like, helping the forests, the oceans, and all kinds of animals. There's so much work happening, and I feel because I'm so connected with the animals, I'm very passionate about this work, and I feel good, that I'm able to support that kind of work. So that's something that is happening on an ongoing basis. Every 2 weeks, every full moon and new moon, I do that. And I've never, ever canceled a global healing circle, regardless of where I am, what's going on in my personal life. I've always done these sessions because I've seen the magic of
Yep.
healing that happens in these sessions. And, I just I feel like I receive a lot too during these
Yeah.
sessions, but also I'm helping so many people, and I feel great about it. So I keep doing it.
I
And then,
love this. And so you could do Reiki on yourself as well, right? And I
oh
heard that you
yeah,
could put Reiki into food and also
yes.
your water, right?
Yes, so for me, it's a non-negotiable thing. I do it every single day, and I practice Reiki lifestyle. It's a way of living and being for me. I infuse everything that I do, everything that I consume with Reiki. Like I cannot separate myself from it because, you know, I just feel so good channeling it. Why wouldn't I use it all the time? So I'm always on this high of like, even if I go through this phase of like feeling very low, whether it is my personal life or something happening in our world and it makes me feel sad, I'm always able to lift myself up by channeling to myself. So it's very supportive for me on my personal journey as well. And it
Um,
keeps me uplifted because I'm doing the important work of sharing this energy with others. So I have to be in a really good place to do that
mm,
effectively. So I make sure that I'm always saturated with this energy.
wow, amazing. Well, thank you so much for this. And is there anything that you find in your area of expertise, something that Reiki has really like shocked, blown you away that it's helped someone with?
Oh my God, I have like hundreds of them, those experiences.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it's it having done this for a long time, I still have experiences that just blows my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, I feel like I've seen so much, but then something happens and I am blown away by it. The synchronicities that I experience with this, you know, um, most of my clients that I work with are complete strangers. I have absolutely no, way of knowing what's going on. Some people do write a booking note where they say specifically, what they want to work with. but most times, like, and it could be a symptom, Jill, like, people are paying attention to their
Yeah.
symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they will write that down, but we know that everything that we are experiencing is rooted in our energy. What energy is blocking us? It creates symptoms. And so, I don't know exactly what the root cause is, and I allow Reiki to work on that root cause. I don't, go in with any preconceived, ideas about like what I want to work on. I just go as a clean slate, even if that is a regular client of mine. Every session is different. And, there have been times where some information came through that there was no way that I would have known, and I get to share that. And then when the client shares with me, like, oh my God, this is like unbelievable. And sometimes it's a vision, like I'm seeing this vision, and it is exactly like I remember this one session where I was seeing this long road, like it was like it seemed endless. It went all the way to the horizon. And it seemed like I was looking from the view of my client, and I was seeing this long road. And she told me that she goes bike riding on such a road like it. And so it's like I'm seeing that through her eyes. And it's just like mind blowing. I've also had sessions where, one of the things that we do as a master practitioner is we do extractions as well. I know this is a bit woo woo and esoteric, but I
Yeah.
still like feel called to share. I did a session on a client, and within the first 30 seconds, I felt like someone stabbed my back.
Yeah.
I had the stabbing pain between my shoulder blades. And in my clairvoyance, I saw a knife.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my gosh.
clearly knew that it was a knife lodge, like it was an intrusion. So I did the process of holy fire and karuna, the process of extracting that intrusion. And I shared that with my client. And she told me for as long as she could remember, she had had this pain exactly where I told her, and she did x-rays, chiropractic, physiotherapy, massage therapy. The pain never went away. There was nothing showing in any of the diagnostics, but it was always there. Sometimes it would become like a
Yep.
dull pain, sometimes it would aggravate. And then right after our session, the pain was completely gone.
Wow.
And so I have experienced things like that where, the client even is not, knowing what is causing something. And then, it gets revealed, and, the client receives help. And it is just amazing, like all kinds of things. There are some ancestral patterns that we follow,
Yeah.
stay stuck in that loop, where it's an ancestral energy that has been passed down, and you want to get rid of it, want to heal from it, but nothing seems to work. Like it's not about willpower, it's about
Yeah.
energy. And that energy being stuck in our body, in our DNA, in our, subtle body,
Amazing.
and it gets released, and just, and I always say a prayer where it's like released all the way and then healed all the way to the original cause, in all directions of time. And so it really is not just helping the ancestors, but also the descendants. So all kinds of, and I also do land healings, which is something that I've been called to, particularly, a few years ago, these mass graves were found in Canada, the
Wow.
residential schools, and I've done some work with that.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we can do with Reiki, really. There have been clients who've downloaded business plans during a session. So it's not just about healing, but it's
Wow.
about receiving, guidance from your highest self, and you aligning yourself with your path and
Yeah.
receiving guidance about that. So yeah, it's just like sky is the limit, really. There's every day I keep learning new ways of using this energy and helping others.
Beautiful. Well, we are excited to have you here again and looking forward to the next conversation. Always informative, always exciting to hear. Now, if someone does want to contact you, do you offer an initial a discovery call to see what it is they need specifically? Or I'm not sure what you call it.
I don't offer those because then my entire time will be just booked with discovery calls.
True.
And I am a very busy person. I'm always traveling.
Wow.
Like the past 9 episodes that I recorded, it's every
You in a
different
different state, different country?
different country, yeah. So it's been it's always very, busy for me. I'm teaching a lot, like I teach classes, and I do a lot of work. So I just don't have time for those discovery calls. But if people want to get a glimpse of like what they can expect, they can book a moon healing circle, which
Perfect.
is so inexpensive. It's like $11 minimum. It's like really nothing. It's like a cup of coffee or
Yeah.
something like that, like a
Well, your
lunch.
time is valuable, and clearly you have
Yeah.
paved the way for so many. And with, go to the website, check out our testimonials. We'll talk more about that again as well. But all the people she can help, including yourself. Thank you so much for being here. One more time, tell us how we can reach you.
Uh, innerjourneyreiki.com and at Purnima_Chaudhary on Instagram.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day. And to all of our listeners, please stay tuned. More of the shows coming right up after the break. Have a
Thank
blessed day and safe travels. Will you be in Kauai next time or will you be in Canada?
I will be hopefully in Canada. I want to spend the summer here with my children. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, enjoy yourself. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning into my cat. I'm just curious now how Simba's going to be the rest of the day. Oh, thank you so much.
Uh,
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.